everybody. Get your engines fired up. It's time for Lights Out. Let's chat.
Okay, so today's episode is a little different, slightly heavier, and some might say it's super controversial. Because this week, something happened in Formula One that almost never happens. And I don't mean rare like a crazy overtake on the last lap. I mean rare as in this has only happened a handful of times in the entire history of the sport. 2 races gone. Just like that. The Bahrain Grand Prix canceled. The Saudi Arabia Grand Prix also canceled. Back-to-back races off the calendar. And not because of weather, not because of a technical issue, but because of something happening in the real world. And today, we're breaking all of that down right here. We'll talk about what actually happened, why it matters, why Formula One had no choice, and why they can't just replace those races. So, buckle up, because this one is bigger than racing. Hey everyone, welcome to Lights Out, Let's Chat. I'm your host, Michaela. Let's get started. Also, if you're new here, you picked a wild week to learn Formula One. Quick breakdown for you. Formula One is the highest level of motorsport in the world. 11 teams, 22 drivers. And somehow, they all think they're winning the championship. These teams travel the globe, racing in different countries, on tracks that meet very specific requirements. And then, there's the FIA. They make the rules. They are basically the, no, you can't do that department. Now, here's the part people don't always realize. Hosting a Formula One race is not that simple. It's not like planning an event. It's like hosting the Olympics, but every single year. You need a certified track, safety systems, mechanical teams, security, global broadcast infrastructure, and millions of dollars. And the track? The track has to be FIA Grade 1. That's the highest safety standard in the motorsport. And here's the key number. There are only about 39 tracks in the world that qualify. So, when people say, why don't they just, move the race? Remember that number. 39 tracks. Because even those tracks, most of them couldn't host a race on a few weeks' notice. So let's talk about what actually happened. Because this isn't just 2 races got canceled. This is about why they got canceled. And when the announcement came out, it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't chaotic. It actually was super serious. This wasn't a maybe it's risky situation. This was active conflict, active military tension, active instability in the region. And that matters because Formula One cannot operate in that environment. Not safely, definitely not responsibly. And we're not just talking about the drivers. We're talking about thousands of team personnel, engineers, mechanics, media crews, fans, event staff. You cannot bring that many people into a region where the situation is changing day by day. And here's the line that matters most. If safety cannot be guaranteed, the race does not happen. No exceptions. And then there's the part people don't think about. Logistics. Formula One is not just cars showing up. It's a traveling city. We're talking hundreds of tons of freight. Cars, engines, spare parts, garage equipment, TV broadcast system, hospitality units. And all of that moves on a schedule, planned months in advance. And for these races, some of that equipment was already in the region. So now you have a global operation in an unstable environment, Formula One logistics are complicated on a good week. This was not a good week. And then there's the money, because Formula One does not cancel races lightly. Each Grand Prix is worth tens of millions of dollars. So, canceling two, you're looking at over $100 million just gone. And if you know Formula One, they do not walk away from money like that. So if they did, there was no other option. And I think this is the part people miss. Formula One is global, it goes everywhere, but it does not exist outside the real world. And sometimes the real world just catches up. And when it does, even Formula One has to stop. Now, if this feels shocking, it's not the first time. In 2011, Bahrain canceled completely. That race didn't happen. Like, full stop. And that tells you how serious things were. Then, in 2022, Saudi Arabia, drivers could literally see smoke from inside the cockpit while driving at 200 miles per hour. And at one point, they seriously considered not racing. That's how close Formula One came to stopping in real time. Okay, this is where I might lose some of you. I love that Formula One is global. I really do. But you don't get to expand in every corner of the world and then act surprised when global issues affect you. Because this isn't new, it's just more visible now. And here's the truth: if you want to be a global sport, you take on global risk. And you don't get to pretend the world stops just because the lights go out. So, what does this mean for the sport? No races equals no data. And in a brand new regulation era, that matters a lot. Think of it like studying for a test and losing two practice exams. Teams lose performance insight, setup understanding, development direction, and early momentum. It's all just gone. Okay, I kind of touched on this earlier, but on question of the week this week, why can't Formula One just replace the races? Seems simple. It's not. Not every track can host F1. You need grade 1 certification. Only about 39 tracks actually qualify, and most of them are already booked. Then you have to move hundreds of tons of freight, thousands of people, global broadcast systems on a schedule that was planned months ago. And now you want to just redo it in 3 weeks? And then obviously there's money. Races are bought. Countries pay millions to host them. So, to replace one, you need someone ready to pay, organize, secure, sell tickets, and run the event immediately. So, what people are really asking is find a track, move a global operation, secure millions of dollars, organize a massive event in a few weeks. Yeah, that's why they can't. Now that question of the week is done, we gotta move on to F1 news of the week. We need to talk about something that happened in Japan, because this one isn't just dramatic, it's concerning. A massive high-speed crash involving rookie Oliver Bearman has now sparked serious safety concerns across the entire grid. And when drivers start speaking out like this, you pay attention. So, here's what we know. During their race weekend in Japan, Bearman was involved in a huge crash at high speed. And this wasn't just a simple mistake or rookie mistake. This was the kind of impact that makes everyone in the paddock stop for a second because of how fast it happened and how little time there was to react. And that's where the real issue starts. drivers are now pointing to something very specific: the new energy systems. In this current era of Formula One, cars don't just rely on engine power. They are now using hybrid energy systems, which means sometimes cars are deploying full power, and sometimes they're not. And what that creates is a huge speed difference on the track. Like, bigger than people realize. You can have one car at full deployment and another effectively lifting or harvesting energy. And the closing speeds, they spike fast. And in Bearman's case, that speed difference is believed to have played a role in how quickly that situation escalated. And here's why the drivers are concerned. This isn't just about one crash. This is about what happens when you combine high speed, limit visibility, and unpredictable closing rates. Because drivers are used to racing each other, but they need to predict each other. And right now, that's getting harder. And when you take that problem and put it on tighter tracks, that's when people start saying, this could get worse. And this is where it really stands out, because drivers are not being quiet about it. One driver reportedly said, the closing speeds right now are bigger than we've had in years. You don't always know what the car ahead is doing. Another added, it's not just about skill at that point, it's reaction time. And sometimes you don't have enough for it. Another added, it's not just about skill at that point, it's about reaction time. And sometimes you don't have enough of it. And that's the key theme here: unpredictability. There were also concerns raised about how quickly situations develop now. With one driver saying, you go from being in control to being in a crash in a split second. That's barely time to adjust. And when multiple drivers start saying the same thing, that's when Formula One and the FIA have to listen. Because FIA has made huge strides in safety over the years. Cars are stronger, barriers are better, medical resources is faster. But safety isn't just about crashes, it's also about preventing them. And right now, drivers are saying something in the system is creating risk. And that's not something you ignore. So, what happens next? Drivers are already pushing for changes. That could mean adjustment to energy development rules, better warning systems, or even twerks to how cars manage power on track. Because the goal isn't to slow Formula One down, it's to keep it predictable enough to race safely. So, massive crash in Japan, growing concerns about speed differences, and drivers asking for answers. And this is one of the moments where FIA has to decide, do you wait for something worse to happen, or do you fix it now? Because in this sport, those decisions matter. Alright, thank you for hanging out with me. I know this one was heavier, but it mattered. Because this is one of the moments where Formula One reminds you, it's not just a sport, it's part of the real world. I'll see you next time.
From Lights Out to the Checkered Flag, this has been Lights Out, Let's Chat podcast. We'll see you next time.